I was conceived in a short pause.
The Chud Normie woke test is going to be the first one. We're going to see how much of a Chud I am compared to being a normie, and then we'll do the Chud test, and then we'll do the incel test. Now, we all know I am a Chuddy buddy, as I was saying beforehand, and I had too much motion that I killed the internet because of it, but what you need to know is I'm going to absolutely just put my honest answers forth. I hope they still sell PCs Windows 10. If ask guy for the program. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna bootload a pirated version of Windows 10 because I'm fucking pissed off. I can't imagine saying I'd be looking forward to going back to Windows 10, but here we are. Thanks for crashing my PC, fucking Windows. Of course, we know who's running Windows right now. A ring a ding a ding a ding a ring a ding a ding a ding a. Yeah, we know who's fucking running Windows. They are redeeming us, sir. They're redeeming the white boy, sir. Little Timmy is trying to stream. They must redeem him, sir. Anyway, forced diversity in modern media is an absolute train wreck, pandering at its worst. Fucking hell, yeah, no shit. Male and female characters need to be portrayed as equal in strength and skill to keep the media fair and inclusive. Fuck no. Just put it simply. As we all have heard a million times in time memoriam for the past over a decade now, men and women are biologically different. Yes, you can have Amazonian women. Yes, you can have femboy twinks. I mean, fucking Astaflo, you can then look at fucking Ghislaine from Jobless Reincarnated. But for the medium point, like, there's still feminine and masculine to a degree. Like, there's still a man and a woman. Simple as. Ghislaine naturally is going to be a lot more stronger. She is a monster woman, but that's beside the point. Keeping it just a more ground level, yeah, no, biologically, men and women are much different. I mean, if you start bringing technology or magitech into it, or just magic outright, then maybe you can level the playing field, but you have to make it believable, okay? If a fan base resists diversity changes, they deserve to be called out and criticized. Fuck no, that's how you lose fans, and that's how you kill franchises. How many times have we seen that before? Whenever a popular show focuses on LGBTQ plus characters, feels like token pandering to me. You can have a character that is gay. I didn't mention it before, but even in Sailor Moon, they still show the girls struggling in the fights, but some of them are still pretty OP. Yeah, I mean, also too in Sailor Moon, aren't like most of them like Sailor Moon? Are most of the girls Mushoku Tensei? There we go, that's the name. I'm sorry for using the English version. My brain fried for a sec. But yeah, no, in Sailor Moon, aren't they also like they're high school aged, right? It's a Japanese anime, like it's a Japanese josei anime. They're gonna be high school age girls because that's the main audience and demographic they're targeting. So no kidding, they're also going to be very frail and weak. It's also played in a comedy. I know I have seen enough Sailor Moon to know that yes, they. I do love some of the writing, the more slapstick bits they do add into it. I also, of course, off topic too, I still find it funny that Hirohiko Araki, despite being the man, being Mr. Fabulous himself, being Mr. In so far in the closet, we don't know where the fuck he is. Mr. Hirohiko Araki, the girl with the start middle school, yeah, exactly, but like, come on. There's when they get into high school, like, dude, they're not gonna be fucking, like, OP, but what I was saying is, I find it funny that Hirohiko Araki somehow crosses paths with some of Japan's largest female media influencers, and they will harangue him and harass him and to kind of stalk him and kind of like pressure him into letting them either do things with his characters or put me in as a character. I still love the story, besides the Sailor Moon girls who made that one omake for Hirohiko Araki with the cat going laying the egg, where they met him at a hair salon. Because, I mean, of course, like I'm not laughing at Araki for going into a female hair salon. I've gotten my hair done many times over at female hair salons. Best way, honestly, some of the best hair salon I've done has been at actual salons. Right? Don't knock it till you try it. But I still find it funny that both they harangued him at that salon to let them make the dojin. Funny thing is, I like Wallace from Scott Pilgrim, and he's the most stereotypical gay guy in the series. Yeah, like, gay characters can be fun and enjoyable to listen to, or like, yeah, the clamp artists. There we go, the clamp artists. And then also I love how the band Perfume also harangued Araki to getting one of their songs put into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, even though Araki's like, I don't like Japanese music. I don't like Japanese pop music. He was like, I explicitly do not like Japanese pop music. And they're like, please, please. And they're like, fine, I'll put Chocolate Disco in there, and I'll make him a handsome, U.S. soldier. Anyway, but yeah, no, like when there are gay characters and movies and series that like even I'm like, yeah, they're written well. I mean, more recently though, there's something like the Chud is like making it obvious, like let's have a 10-minute or like 7-minute scene where the character's got to come out and announce he's gay. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what you're sucking in the fucking closet. Let's get to work, boys. All right, let's actually get to work. Classic franchises should stick to stop bending over to appease modern trends. Yeah, agree. I'm going to say agree to a degree, because if you start just doing, because that is a double-edged sword. I think it's best said in John Wick, where, jeez, Tonio, where Tonio tells I have to remember who runs the hotel again. Who's the owner of the hotel in New York in John Wick. Tonio tells him that that heritage or tradition is the enemy of progress, and his rebuttal was, I thought it was the friend of it. Meaning that you should stick to the agreed roots and traditions of that, that laid the benchmark for your enterprise, but you should also have to be able to adapt, because if you were to have something like, think about this for a sec, I know there's a lot more to the story than this, but like Steven Seagal, where he's constantly still stuck in the fucking 80s, and of course he's hyper delusional, narcissistic, but that one did shock me. But from the comic book, that was that they turned Steven Stills gay, but Steven Stills was still cool. Yeah, exactly. What I was saying though is that, but like as I was saying though, is that like if you stick with just rebuking the same thing and then rebooting a series and doing the same thing that did in the 80s, that was in the 80s, it's like, but it never changes. It's like, it's not going to work constantly. In fact, over time, it's going to become more aged and pathetic as time goes on. And it's just like, there's no originality to it. So you do have to adapt and evolve in some cases, but what we're seeing here is not an evolution or adaptation to, new trends, because, trends will recycle through, and then, like, the 80s action star will come back 4 years down the line. But right now, or in this decade, the trend would be, like, for example, the 90s, how the 90s killed the 80s action star was the 90s brought in the jaded, lean, kind of everyman character for action, or just for most roles, right? Like, it's just, you have to know how to adapt. But what's forced on in the modern sense of media, especially when there's agenda pushing and there's, actual globalist paid agenda to push narratives and deconstruct Western society, especially. Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. And if you're just completely spitting the face of what made something, then fuck right off, right? Pro LGBTQ plus theme should be a fundamental part of every video game to keep things progressive. Fuck no. Fuck no. Why would I want everything progressive? I want a story, not a fucking talking head, not a fucking checkmark of who I need to fit in my video game. I don't care. Game developers should be pushing for more female leads to show off diversity. No. Because how many times have we had this rebuttal of how many female lead games were there before this whole shit show came up with Gamergate, right? Even if you want to say, like, when there was one of the largest earlier cases of Marxist ideology or social justice and forced diversity, even then, it was still done tastefully, and that was Resident Evil 5 with Sheva. Right? She's a female lead, she's black, she's in Africa, and she's not. And you know what they got? They got an actual fan of the series to voice, mocap, and model for Sheva. Evil Adair is still very attractive, even though she's getting older. Yes, Lara Croft too, especially. Lara Croft is also, a major player, but you also go with like a lot of the girls in Final Fantasy. They're not fully playable, but they're still main portions of the story, and they're part of the turn-based combat. You can also look at Persona, of course, that's Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, that's another big one. You can look at, they don't even need to be sometimes be playable characters. Like, you can have lead roles or supporting lead roles. It doesn't always need to be lead roles. It doesn't really matter to me if the character is going to be male or female. As long as it's a good story, I'm happy to play it. Right? I know people like to, especially, there was a trend for a while, more recently, where there was like, yes, we want attractive female leads, and then some studios to really rebuke to really buck the trend, went way over, like way above and beyond to making their leads extra attractive. And I'm like, that's great. When you shift up to Stellar Blade, great. Stellar Blade's a great story, not an excellent story, but a great story, good game. And Eve is very attractive and is a nice character. Not as great as 2B or Bayonetta, but hey ho. Once again, other ones. The great characters, absolutely great appeal, beautiful looking. But you also don't need to. But then there's also been cases where it just feels like gotcha. Like, it's just, they're marketing themselves only on sex appeal, and even then, I just kind of like, I don't really want sex appeal. It should be a spice, but it shouldn't be the whole dish. Heck, the Fire Emblem ladies, yeah. Once again, Fire Emblem, a major series, right? But Vanillaware also does hot women and cool dudes, exactly, right? And then you also had DOA, Dead or Alive. I mean, Dead or Alive really put on the sex appeal, and like, or in some cases the cutesier characters. But yeah, that really took it to a whole fucking level. I mean, just keep going off the list. We could be here naming, female leads or female supporting leads all day long, but it doesn't need to be pushed off, because the ones you're pushing are not characters. They're just self-inserts, or they're just soapboxes. Once again, we don't like that. Introducing female lead in a reboot totally destroys the narrative of the original spirit. I'm indifferent to this one. Okay? Because, yeah, Godspeed, Itagaki Sensei, yeah. Like, when it comes to this one here, introducing a female lead in a reboot totally destroys the narrative's original spirit. I'm gonna sigh at this one. Because unfortunately, I can't think off the top of my head right now a reboot where there is a female lead that isn't a pile of dog shit. I'm thinking of things where there's going to be a female lead, but it's not a reboot. I.e., the Resident Evil series right now, that's entering number 9, is going to have Grace Ashcroft, the new character Grace Ashcroft, be half the lead of the story. And you have old man Leon Kennedy, approaching 50, he's about 48 right now in the series. And I know they're still running with, like, basically, Resident Evil, I'm kind of a Resident Evil fanboy, but I'm gonna say this. I am a little bit, I always do raise my eyebrow whenever for the past while, they've done nothing but keep mainly to Chris and Leon, because Claire hardly shows up out on the mainline series. Jill hardly shows up. I mean, Christ's sake, like, the foundations, I'm not even going to the characters I really like, where it's like, Sheva or Rebecca, or like any of the other female ones, but like, female, Persona 3, let's choose between male and female Portable. Yeah, no, in Portable, I'm actually gonna play Portable sometime on stream, because I have it downloaded. But so I was saying though is that what they're doing is they're starting to do the next generation with Resident Evil right now, and Rose very much will be part of the next generation further down the line. Her story's yet to come up. It's what I'm seeing Capcom doing. But Grace, Rebecca Chambers. You don't remember Rebecca? The short-haired girl from RE1? She's basically the medic of Stars. You don't remember Rebecca? Hang on. Let me just look her up and let me make sure I'm actually getting it right. Here. I'm pretty sure I got the name right. Fuck my life. Rebecca Chambers. Yeah, Rebecca Chambers, yeah. You don't know who Rebecca is? My brother in Christ. You don't know who Rebecca is. Okay. I know, just saying Rebecca, yeah, just Rebecca barely shows up. Yeah. Like, I feel like as if they're like with the new RE9, they're gonna do a female half lead. Grace is very much out of her element. Leon is basically doing another Ashley thing by protecting Grace, but Grace is gonna be probably the new lead for further Resident Evil games after they finish up the original cast's story. I don't know if they're gonna do that. I don't know. It's Capcom's doing whatever they're doing. But I'm gonna have to say, based on track record, agree. If a show is labeled woke, it's probably too busy preaching to bother telling a different story. Agree, strong agree, but there's also a qualm with this because it's profitable. It is very profitable. And also great for attention to slap the label woke on to slap the label woke on everything nowadays. It is very much profitable. You see this with the quartering. You see this with, I'm afraid to say, geeks and gamers. You see this with those guys. Every new thing, even just by, yeah, also your screen is black. I know, I had to hit it. Every new thing is going to be labeled as woke before it comes out. There's going to be even harder line guys like, I know people have qualms with, I don't have qualms with his audience sometimes. It's when people will run with false narratives and make stories up about games or stories that they've never touched or hasn't come out yet, and we're just off the hop, off the gun, saying it's going to be woke, or there's going to be, DEI slop, or it's going to be slop this, or blah 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 blah, right? Or if we just don't like something, or we just want to hate something, we're going to hate it. Expedition 33, for example. Both sides fucking railed on Expedition 33 for nothing burger reasons. But if it is woke, once it comes out and it's being verified, then yeah, there it is, okay? Also, what I also hate about the guys who do this whole woke shtick is that, yes, they're doing it for profit too. They're going to fucking watch it. They're going to put money into playing it. Or they're going to even pirate it and still give it the viewership of playing it or watching it. And then they're going to make videos about it and profit off it and word about them. People are going to check out how woke and terrible it is to sneer and jeer at it. But you're still giving the studio money. You're still giving the studio attention, right? That's what I don't like. That's like there's qualms I have with this whole, because unfortunately this whole culture war thing, because I've been in this culture war way too young. I got into this thing way too young. I started watching, and yes, I'm still very much like against anything woke. I'm not even being a fucking centrist, mind you. I'm just on burnout, right? I'm having burnout because I've been watching this whole culture war bullshit since 2015. I was watching Wrecked Feminist videos back then. Everything was like, we're gonna do culture war stuff, talk about the new SJW thing, new this, new that, blah, blah, blah. And it's just the never-ending cycle. It's like, then make our own shit. Right? Eric July made his own shit. Common America. That's the whole thing. They made their own thing. They're running with it still. You're a veteran of Gamergate 2010. Yeah, see, I was too young for Gamergate, early Gamergate. I was like, remember, not your shield. I remember Base Stickman. That was my thing. I was part of the Base Stickman crowd and Wreck Feminist videos. That's when I really got into it. Like, I started liking Trump, ironically in 2015 when I was in, like, middle school. Because, haha, he says funny things, he's a meme. And then I really started looking into things, and I was like, holy fucking shit, this is what I need to do. And at first I was a real MAGA-tard, and then just, other stuff. Yeah, even Tall does and stuff. Yeah, Cyberpop. I'm still waiting for Tall's stuff to make it cross customs, because I want to have my Rebecca shirt. No, my Rachel. I want to have my Rachel shirt. I want to go lift hundreds of pounds in my gym and have people stare at me as I have a crippled blonde alcoholic hag on my chest as I proudly lift weights. Do it for her as I scream. I really hope they do get the plushes for Rachel too, because I want to put her in my car, have her in the passenger seat, put the little seatbelt on, and then put her with some hat that says "Please be patient, I have autism" or something. I don't know. I want to get the Rachel. I want to have a Rachel plushie. Because God knows you motherfuckers stole the Dakimakura from me. Anyway, I was just saying though is that once again, I don't want this shit. I don't want it. I'm tired of all this stuff. But if we're going by the what's being laid out here with the questionnaire, yeah, I agree with that. Adding more characters from different races, genders, and sexual orientations help franchise make sure they're not contributing to racism or sexism. You're checking off boxes. Okay. I don't need a show to be one race or mono-raced. I don't need a show to be this or that, but I also don't need the characters to represent me. You know what some of my favorite actors were? Once again, Yaphet Kotto. Everyone loves Wesley Snipes. That's another one. I mean, you cannot make Blade without Wesley Snipes, even though Blade is supposed to be a white vampire hunter. Wesley Snipes is just too cool for it. Like, we're gonna change and make them, race swap. Haha, how do you feel about that, Chuds? How do you feel about that, white boy? Versus, it's a sci-fi show. They found a really cool actor who doesn't cost a lot of money, and it's his breakout role, and they make him that character. I can still relate to character, I can still relate to characters played by Idris Elba, right? Blade was cool. Once again, I can relate, or I can think they're cool. Equalizer. Blade in the comics was originally white. And then Wesley Snipes played Blade, and everyone's like, God damn, he's too cool. He's too fly. Right? I mean, Lance Reddick. I mean, I can name off how many black actors who have roles I can just think are cool, right? Just like how the Men in Black comics had Jay White. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like they find someone who just seems to typecast it to a degree, or carry a aura around it where it just works. Okay? It just works. But if you force on diversity, and it's just obviously made to humiliate the fan base, humiliate even a race of people. That's because white racism and humiliation has been made since time immemorial. That shit is disgusting. But once again, you get a proper black actor or proper actor, then you can work. And here's the thing too. It really depends on the writers too. Lando Calrissian. If you go back to the big name case of Star Wars, which really got fucked over, Lando, played by Billy D. Williams, one of the coolest characters in that story. And I love, as a kid, I freaking loved Lando. I loved soul and funk growing up, and Lando was the shit. And I like Childish Gambino. I like Donald Glover's music. But the writers fucked him over so goddamn hard. Yeah, Billy D. Williams. Yeah. But they fucked Donald Glover so hard because he could have been a good successor to Billy D. Williams as a younger Lando. Except we are dealing with modern day writers and forced agendas. And he's got to be a non-binary robot fucker. He is literally the joke meme of the pansexual. Don't call yourself pansexual unless you haven't deep-throated a skillet. That is the young Lando that they made Donald Glover play. Jesus fuck. Adding more characters from different races, genders, and sexual orientations helps franchises make sure they are not contributing to racism or sexism. That is a fucking false flag. Anyone who boycotts a gamer show just because it includes diversity messaging has a problem. Not gonna lie, true. Would have liked to see Childish Gambino as Lando. Yeah. See, the thing is, I'm gonna say this about Gambino too. Donald Glover is also very preachy sometimes. That's why I don't follow any celebrity on fucking social media. I never do. I hardly have any social media. I only have the stuff for the YouTube channel. I don't even have personal social media. But Donald Glover, in acting, has gotten nothing but more shittier roles outside of his personal projects. Like, he gets paid well, but he doesn't get anything that really stands out. But Childish Gambino was good for the longest time. Rapping, and then Awaken My Love came out, which is part of the soul funk revival attempt that was made in 2016. And it was a great album. And then I felt like Childish Gambino fell off. Kind of fell off the wagon. Got preachy with Feels Like Summer and This Is America. And then the 2020 White Album dropped, and that was a disappointment outright. It was just... The only song I remember off it was Psilocybin, and even then it's like, it's not even really that good of a song. It's like, compared to what Gambino used to be, people want to cringe about the old nerdcore Gambino. I love old nerdcore Gambino. I miss Cul-de-sac. I miss EP. That's my Gambino. None of this shit. Anyone who boycotts a game or show just because it includes diversity messaging has a problematic view with women or minorities. Fuck no, because you spit on people you're then trying to make sure they buy the series. Fuck off. Right? Once again, I still find it funny that a bunch of Anons made a better visual novel, and probably one of the most influential, like, internet-made visual novels over Snoot Game, and then Wani, to make fun of Goodbye Volcano High. And it literally took what was promoted in the trailer and incorporated it into a series where it's not even making mockery of it, it was just made a story of development. Made a story of not getting yourself lost in confusion over your identity. That's what I like. Which we will also play on stream too. Eventually. Shoving diverse characters into established franchises doesn't necessarily wrecks them, makes that what made them great. Yeah, exactly. Right. You don't need, if you can't incorporate a character properly in the series, like, write the character up. I don't care of their exterior skin color, or, what their sex is. I just want to know, can they be written well? If they can't, then fuck off. Updating a cast if you be more diverse was like a lazy box checking exercise that distracts from making a quality product. Yep. That's just another rebuttal. Content creators must address real-world diversity issues if they want to stay relevant in today's landscape. Fuck no. I don't want to hear, like, you're saying every content creator? Really? And you get fucking preachy, you get people who start getting so preachy, they start losing what the original identity of their channel was. Oh, it's the content creator evolving and maturing. No, they're just chasing money. They're just chasing supposed trends, new audiences, trying to disown their old audiences. You saw this with iDubbbz, you see it with Laserpig, you see it with a bunch of people. Just stop being a knucklehead and just follow what makes you happy in creation. That's what people are there for. It's not always gonna be a hit. There's gonna be misses, but if you force it upon your audience, it's not going to work. New characters represented marginalized groups that often add meaningful depth to stories and established franchises. No. No, because if all they're doing is carrying the banner of a group, or they're just being a checkmark for the group, they're not a character. I want them to be characters. That's all I ask for. Right? Stop. The first thing I shouldn't be hearing about is about the characters that I'm a Hindu, trans, black, feminist. I don't give a shit. Are they a character? What's their tragic backstory? What's their motivation? What's their drill? Can they follow basically the hero's journey? No. Like, are they going to follow into the archetype? No. Then I don't care. Just another DeviantArt OC self-insert. What about the most oppressed race? The Krogans. I'd say drunk drivers. I want my people represented. Inclusivity should be a priority for creators, even if it's losing some of the old fan base. Even means losing some of the old fan base. Welcome to Agartha. Oh boy. Hey, I checked out your stream. It's a solid concept for someone new and kicking. Oh, great. No, we got a wonderful little kick bot. Nope. You go away. Inclusivity should be a priority for creators. Nope. Modern takes that change the race or gender of iconic characters send the right message about the society we all should strive for. What do I think about that? Modern takes that change the race or gender of iconic characters send the right message about the society. Modern takes that change the race. No. Franchises shouldn't butcher established lore to make things inclusive. we're just repeating questions at this point. Rebooting older franchises with a modern, diverse cast makes them more relevant and valuable for today's audiences. Older franchises with a modern, diverse cast. No, we're just repeating. It's just a repeat. Oh my god. Yeah! You see that, white boy? I am the chuddiest of buddies. What a crock of shit. Ooh, anti-Semitism test. Let's end the stream, boys. Let's do it. Woo! I will say, if you put a pair of Khazar milkers on my face, I will completely forget about my proclusivities to get drunk and say things at the Applebee's.